This is pretty funny. Cable still strung up in the tree. Just like a whole mess of parts here. All 100+ years old of it. Good day, everyone, and thanks for checking out my little video I put together here on exploring an abandoned aerial tramway. This particular one is from the Meadow Valley Lumber Company, or the Spanish Peak Lumber Company. It was called by a couple of different names. You may ask, what is it all about? Well, I'm not going to go into every last little detail because it's a pretty long story that I've been reading about off and on for a few years now. But basically, it was a fairly large lumber company that sprang up here in 1915 up here in Northeast California in Plumas County. And they had two choices, basically, was to ship the lumber they cut and milled down about 25 or 30 miles, I believe it was, down to the railroad tracks for shipping out to, the other locations from there. Or their other choice was they built this aerial tramway, and it went 5 miles up and over the top of a mountain and cut the trip down to the shipping area and the final milling site down by about an hour. I've actually been reading up on the subject a little bit, and it seems like there was only one other example of a lumber hauling tramway, aerial tramway anyway, that existed back in the day, and that was down in Arizona somewhere. So apparently they decided at the time that this was the way to ship all their lumber, and it's a pretty impressive feat of engineering, really, for 1915. It's 5 1/3 miles long, I believe, roughly. 42 towers, they said, and traversed some pretty rough terrain up around the 5,000 foot level. So anyway, this is my exploration of what's left of it. I did end up filming this on 3 actually different outings, so it may seem a little out of order, but I'm going to try and keep it in order as far as the locations along from start to finish on the tram line itself. So without further ado, please feel free to follow along and check out this little bit of history that is hiding out here in our national forests. I was also going to say, if this subject interests you at all after watching the video and you want to know more about it, definitely check out the link I put down in the description to the Plumas County Museum. They had a really good, that's where I got most of my information, about, I think it was like a 7-page write-up on the whole operation. There's a whole detailed story behind it. It's pretty cool. I just didn't really have time to go into all those details here. So here I am now crossing a mosquito-infested bog, but I found the cable. That's a good thing, I guess. It's actually a fairly lovely mosquito-infested bog, but I'm hoping to get out of it quickly here. But there's my cable. There's some more of it right there. Cool. Must be on the right track. I gotta say, it's pretty impressive how consistently this cable is still laid out all along the path. It's just everywhere you look. In this stretch here, you can pretty clearly see the path it followed. This is the spot you could see on Google Earth. And you can totally see where all the trees are fairly new growth here versus the older growth on the sides. This is becoming my new thing, just follow the cable. I'm afraid this one's not in very good shape still. But it's still some bit of history. This is what's left of this one anyway. Yeah, not that late yet. I guess I'll try and go a little further up the mountain. Small tower here. There's the concrete footing right there. I guess maybe these ones were only like, I don't know, like 15 foot tall or something. Just kind of guessing. It's hard to tell from the timbers, but they're so collapsed. It's kind of neat here. Almost looks like this tree grew up like with the cable on top of it. What do you guys think? Is that what's going on here, or was it still standing and then it fell into it? Just kind of interesting the way it's all intertwined. Well, anyway, here we are just about at the biggin that I saw last year. And as usual, I didn't beat the sunset. Never seem to get out until late in the day. Plus today they were doing control burns up here and I didn't really want to be huffing smoke. Yeah, this is definitely the biggest one. I'm guessing because it spanned the canyon here, right past here. Really do wish I could have seen this thing when it was still standing. It must have been pretty impressive. Oh, I just noticed. I didn't see this before. Yeah, look, this is where the cables ran through the, I guess those are some kind of guides. And then I'm guessing the sheaves would be on the other side. If anybody watching this knows how this stuff is all built, feel free to leave a comment, because I don't know a whole lot about these kind of things. Ooh. It's interesting too, this wood up here is, the leftover of it is a lot more rotten than the stuff I found at that still standing one. It actually had some pretty solid timbers. Look at that, just everywhere you look, it's just... There's a lot of wood and went into building this thing. Oh, check that out. Is that like the bull wheel or whatever? That's a big old hunk of steel there. This one's pretty stable at least. When I first saw this last year, I was thinking that somebody had piled rocks in here, but I almost wonder if that's how it was originally. Maybe it was some kind of counterweight for it. It's an awful lot of rocks for people to just randomly stack in here over the years. Oops. Oh, you know, the more I look at this, I think this was actually 2 towers. Because there's another set of footings over here. That's why it looks so big. I mean, it is so big, but... yeah, there's different footings over here. I see now. Oh, here's another one of these big... I mean, now, is that just a really big sheave, or is that a bull wheel? I'm not really sure, because I know bull wheel is what they guide along at the base. Now, those are the base of the tram, not usually, at least if they're like chair lifts. That's the only thing I am familiar with. That's pretty cool. Oops. This is a good place for yellow jackets or hornets, now that I think about it. I probably better be careful. That thing ain't going anywhere. Not without a helicopter. I don't know how well the GoPro is going to show this, but this is kind of an interesting and unexpected little find here. So, I'm kind of at the midway point up the mountain looking for some more of the tram line here. There's this old canal, which is interesting because I know they said that this tram line was run by like a hydro type, you know, water wheel setup. I wonder if this is part of the canal that brought water to the mill to spin the tram, maybe? I'm going to follow it for a little ways here and see if I can find anything. Yeah, I bet there's a good chance this was the canal for the tram line. This is a fairly sizable little ditch. Definitely wasn't. Aha, here we go. More of my cable I've been following. Here's another little find. They did mention there was some kind of makeshift telegraph line. I don't know if that might be related to this thing here. Seems like it could be. Following right alongside with the tram. So that makes sense. Well, this little tower unfortunately is burned up. Not a whole lot to see. There's one of these big old, whatever these guides or sheaves or whatever are. Ah, here we go. Oh, cool. This one's kind of still standing. Cool. I imagine this was originally a lot taller, but there should be several more of these further up, but I don't know. That's kind of cool. Like I say, this seems to be one of the better preserved ones. Oh, even better. The old sheaves. Sorry. I really need to do what I originally planned, was shuttle and have someone drop me off at the top. That is rad.